Wanna learn about the history of the United States, the land of the free, the country with 50 states, the two-party system nation, the country of... No? Well, too bad, I've already made the video. A long time ago, maybe 50,000 years back, people went here via a land bridge and they don't stop coming and, oh, it's gone. A few thousand years later, some guys with sharp helmets wanted more land, so they sailed west and reached two landmasses, named them appropriately, and then stopped. Then these strong guys said, no, you can't have cheap spices, so in 1492, this guy sailed the ocean to reach Japan, India, and called these guys Indians. Then went on a killing rampage, enslaving everyone he saw, ransacked his land for resources, and killed more people because they didn't like being enslaved. But then he realized he wasn't in India, and the race began to see who can gain the most land. North America was mainly owned by the British and French, with disputed territories everywhere, because people do not know how to set boundaries. Then they went to war. These guys won, went to war again, these guys won, and now the borders are actually set. Because these guys went to war, they are broke, so they asked their colonists to pay taxes because that's what patriots do, and they're like, taxes? Let me dump some tea in the ocean. This made the British mad, so they sent men to Boston, and because these tea dumping Indians threw rocks at them, the British shot. Then began the 8-year-long revolution where the best army in the world lost to some ill-trained militia, but then the best army saw some progress, then the French were like, we're not helping you. Then the Americans said it was against the Brits, say no more. What? The French sent money, men, advisors, and boats to fight the British, and in the end, these Americans won and made this guy president because, well, they wanted him to. The British reluctantly gave out all this land and said bye. After a while, Spain gave France this land because heck knows what. Then, France sold the land to America to invade Britain. But the money to buy the land was loaned by Britain. Then they said, I want more land, and they got more land by buying and threatening the Spanish. After a while, they said more land, and got taxes because they said yes. But then the Spanish, now Mexicans, were angry at them for taking taxes, so they went to war. Unsurprisingly, America won, and this was their territory. So gorgeous. Except up here. What is this? Another disputed territory? Jesus, man! So, the Americans were like, give me this land, and the British said no, and the Americans were like, give me this land, and the British said no, and the Americans were like, give me this land, and the British said yes. I haven't mentioned this, but America was split into two opposing sides, the slave states in red, and the free states in blue. Guess what happened? Civil War. Where this guy with his funny cheekbones became president, and after some hypocrisy and hardships, won the Civil War. He then was so happy that he went to a play and... pew. After that Civil War, the Americans went rebuilding, then isolated themselves. But then, some people in Europe were angry and a world war, happened. America sold stuff to the Triple Entente and was getting super rich. So, Germany was like, hey Mexico, can you declare war on the USA? Thanks. But the British were eavesdroppers and heard this, so they told America and America was like, war. After a while, Germany got kicked out and they promised to never go to war again. 20 years later, an Austrian artist with a skinny mustache became a dictator in Germany and started another war, where they almost won, but their allies in Japan did some bombing in American ports, so war. The Americans landed in Normandy, and the Soviets pushed Germany out. Then they were like, screw this, I'm too lazy to never invade Japan, and dropped 2 fat bombs on Japan. The Americans were then like, women should have rights, and the world agreed, so they made women have rights. But a Red Scare was looming in the Eastern Bloc. The communists were competing with the Americans to see who can go to space first. It was the communists, but the Americans won the space race because they landed on the moon. Then they saw a country being infected by communism and helped them, and their big elite army got destroyed by red farmers. After this, the communist Americans tried to see who can make more nukes, but it made the communists broke, so the Americans won. Then they started making nukes and tried to make peace, and oh, it's gone. As the 21st century approached, an unfortunate event occurred where on September 11, 2001, American Airlines, hijacked by terrorists, committed a series of ramming themselves into buildings, famously topping the World Trade Centers, and claimed the lives of 2,996 people. Then they tried to fight drugs. I guess it worked. Then they tried to fight terrorism. And I guess that worked? Okay, maybe not. Oh, and remember this guy? He's God according to history textbooks.